Hey guys, thank you for watching. This will be our actual review for the episode that we just got through watching live with people that joined us. Thank you for anybody that did join us and talked in the chat. Thank you, Elite, especially in this particular episode. You threw out some things right there as we was going along and watching the episode. It's kind of one of those things. I get it. Sometimes you want to just sit at home and watch these things on your own. You don't want to have to have anything distracting you at the same time. Me and Greg like watching these together, and if you like to join us and you're on your own and you like to watch it with other people and not just do it with by yourself, come and join us each week, and we actually do our live reaction. You get to see how we react to things going on in the episode, and we kind of talk about a couple of little things as we do that. But this is the actual true review of the episode that we just watched, episode 5, The House of the Dragon. Episode 4, y'all saw me. I was able to do the review last week. It didn't really raise up. Everything kind of stayed in the middle. It didn't really decline really. I thought the writing got a little better in that last episode and all that, but it didn't really affect my score so far. I think me and Greg, we've talked about it before we started watching the actual episode, and we can just talk about it now. Right now, we're going to talk about this episode after we tell you this, and then we're going to see if anything changes or if it adjusts or if from here on out. So with that being said, me and Greg are both at a B minus, maybe a C plus area on the show through the first 4 episodes. And then we had episode 5 come in. I had heard some good things that possibly might be happening with the episode, but just to go ahead at the very beginning here, answer Elite's question. To be honest, what would you have done if you was Daemon talking? I'm assuming he's talking about with his daughter and the dragon and sheep stealer, in that situation of lying to Rhaenyra. Probably would have did something similar. I definitely probably though would have set her up to where I'm get your butt out of here. You leave. Don't ever return until I send you notice that you can come back. Situation. And he really didn't do all that. So I feel like she's going to do something stupid and dumb and show up, and then everybody's going to see her ass riding the dragon, and then you lied to me, Daemon. And that's going to cause some big things. Because there's a couple of things in this episode that happened during the show where it was Daemon and Rhaenyra together, right? And then some of the things, it's she's got the trust of Daemon right now, and Daemon it seems like he is trying to do what's best for her, but there is a little bit of strife there. There's a little bit of what's going to happen to pull them apart. They're barely hanging on together. There's a few strands in the tapestry, we could say, that are keeping them kind of where they're not going at war with each other and everything else. In that regard, but yeah, what do you feel about, since we're on the subject, what do you feel about Daemon and Rhaenyra's relationship so far? Do you agree with me? Is it just barely hanging on the strands, or do you think it's a lot stronger? They got a stronger bond than what some people might think.
Man, at this point, it's probably, Damon's getting a taste of what he wants, right? He's getting a taste of he talks about it with the Gold Cloaks, New Valeria. This could be, we could go 9 kingdoms, we can go 12 kingdoms, New Valeria. The world is ours. He's starting to get the thirst for what he wants out of this whole situation, and that thirst for power and stuff, and what his urges are, is kind of making it, conflict, the battle of power between them two. I don't know necessarily how close they are emotionally, or how much they care about each other. Ultimately, Daemon still probably really cares about her and will do the right thing, but at some point you got to figure that his thirst and thirst for power is going to outweigh that, maybe. And so there's that dynamic between that and the love that he has for Rhaenyra. So I don't know, it's really hard to gauge on where their relationship is. There's a lot of things pulling at it. This is probably a stressful she's in a high stressful job. She's got things going on, so it pulls out a relationship, man. It really pulls out a relationship, and a lot of relationships do not make it out of that situation. So you're muted.
Yep. But yeah, so whenever I was just saying earlier, I just think there's a bunch of strands, and there's but they're very thin.
Yeah.
I do think he's trying to do the right thing, but I think when somebody comes in there and there's any kind of divide at all, those strands are going to break, and then and you're just kind of waiting for that moment. I almost think it's a little bit too obvious. I almost wish that like at like last episode and this episode, there would have been more of them together, and you're like thinking to yourself, "Damn, I like think they're legitimately 100% together, like on this, like that." Almost make it even seem like her and his bond is even more than her and the in the white snake or the white worm. I can't remember, is it white snake or white worm? But anyway, like the lady that's her the mistress of whispers or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like that
Aria.
yeah, so like whenever that stuff happens, that it could be more believable a little bit, but I don't know exactly where they're going to go with the story on that particular thing. But while we're on like Rhaenyra and Daemon, and Rhaenyra especially, like, so how do you think like her being queen, like she just made like it's almost like she's pushing away the people she should be keeping close, and then like bringing in people like we saw in this episode. She brought in somebody from the Riverlands or whatever to be part of her small council. Like the woman was even complaining a lot, but then she
Mm-hmm.
eventually was like, "Yeah, but I'll be on the council. I'll do what I can." And she's got these like random people kind of filling out her council, and also like the way she's feeling about certain things
Mm-hmm.
that are happening. You know, like in last episode, there were people putting like paintings on the walls, saying "Queen of the Bastards" and stuff like that. And then she
Mm-hmm.
sent the Gold Cloaks retroactively to go out there and like catch these people. And the Gold Cloaks took it too far, basically, which we found out in this episode. They obviously took it way too far, and the people was not
Mm-hmm.
extremely unhappy because obviously what ends up happening. But like as far as her leadership and like role and being like the queen, uh, you know, kind of what do you feel about that?
I understand it to a point because, she just lost Jace, so she's still writhing in pain and sadness, and she also has like revenge on her mind, and she's kind of clouded with that, that kind of mission, and then for her to be, she's still dealing with the whole situation of I'm a woman, and people are gonna always, look to take me down. She doesn't feel supported. She always, she brings up the situation with Damon, when they have their argument that, you're always going to want your voice heard and you're, stuff like that. So she has some complex about that situation too, still brewing her, but she's filled with emotions right now. She's getting more emotions are getting poured on by the whole, you know, call to, the call of her, legitimacy or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and her kids. She's always been protective of that, since the first season. So that's a callback kind of. And she's dealing with all that on top of people, obviously playing the Game of Thrones, but trying to manipulate her, trying to move her around on her side. Masari is trying to get her and Damon separated and kind of question her a little bit closer, try to pull her closer. Allison's obviously trying to get her what she wants out of this whole situation. So she's getting pulled in all these situations while also
Uh,
having all these issues to deal with, right? Like, dealing with the rat situation. Where's the gold? Where's Aemond? Where's Daemon? What's going on with at the Tumbleton and Almond Hightower and all that situation? Like, there's a lot of issues going on to the same side. So she's discombobulated, and it would make sense that she would be possibly making mistakes or filled with the wrong direction right now because she's dealing with a lot of things.
um, my thing with Rhaenyra is she's basically becoming a person that I've seen in real life on multiple occasions and multiple kinds of examples. So, you know, you got the short man complex, right?
Mm,
Like some guy that's like a small guy or whatever, and they get some kind of power, and now they're like, you know, power hungry kind of situation where they have that kind of issue. Or maybe it's a person that's like picked on as a kid and they become like something with authority, like a cop or something like that. And then they're the asshole cop that's like wants to write you up for every little thing because they get off on having that power because they were like, you know, made fun of and stuff. And you also have it like in regular life. So like, you have like women and stuff that may get in some kind of power position, like say like a manager of a place or something like that, and they feel like they have to do more or they
mm,
have to like try to be super tough to try to make it to where, oh, you know, I'm supposed to have this position, right? I earned this position, and they do it too much. Obviously, you earned the position, you got the position, right? But you still got that feeling where you have to try to make up for something. And I think like she's kind of fallen into that kind of mentality, you know, like of everybody's out to get me when technically no, not everybody is out to get you, right? But you always feel like everybody's out to get you, so you always have to be on guard and all this. And definitely she needs to be on guard because of the situation, but it's like I think she's like uh focusing too much on that and some of the things that she needs to do to be able to be part of this world and become like the actual queen that people like want her to be. Like she's made one or two little cool decisions, but then like at the same time, you go and have one of your most loyal people. You just, oh, I'm not gonna make your bastards legitimate. Like, bro, it's like an easy thing for you to do, and you get a guy, the sea snake, right there next to you. You're the hand of the queen, right there with you, 100%. And that's all you had to do. He lost so much for you, and you can't do that. It's just like dumb, like things. And it's like, bro, get out of the gut. Like, and I think Daemon, like in this episode, said some things to her, right? Like, yo, stop being like if you're the king, like if you're the king of the mountain, right? Everybody wants to say things to you. Everybody wants to like make comments towards you or whatever, right? So like in real life, if you're like the top dog at a place, you know there's gonna be people like, you know, talking behind your back all the time, trying to bring you down because like maybe they don't like that you're the top dog. Or just because like you're the manager and you're telling them what to do and they get mad because they don't want to do the particular thing you're getting those, you know, that kind of thing, right? And they're going to talk crap behind your back. You can't let that like affect you that much. Like you can't let that make you make stupid decisions, you know, just because someone paints queen of the bastards or something like that on the wall. No, that obviously doesn't mean the whole city's against you. That just means there's some kind of people out there that's got a little stripe, but there's always going to be people. You can't make everyone happy. There's not ever going to be a president or a ruler of a nation that's ever going to have 100% of the population like have you like be on their side. You know what I'm saying? That kind of situation. We actually got a couple of things coming in. I was let's see here. We got a couple of comments. We got post 614. First time I've ever seen Daemon worried. I think he's worried because Daemon's one of these people. Like, all right, so besides a few episodes ago when they did the stupid thing where it's like, why would you leave Ormond and them over there with the high towers with a dragon? That's stupid. That's just dumb. Like, that's just one of those things that I did not like because I like Daemon as a character and he's not that dumb. Right, he's got some intelligence, but also at the same time, like, and Daemon can be a good leader, right, in certain situations, especially like a men going to war, stuff like that. And you kind of see that in some of this episode. He gives like a speech, and the Gold Cloaks are all like, "Yeah," just from him giving like a speech because he's got that charisma and everything. But at the same time, I think he is worried about like, man, some of these things I don't know what I should do. Right? You know what I'm saying? Because like in some instances, like maybe he's smart in these particular ways, but then, you know, being this person that's got to be in the background and like he wouldn't be a good master of secrets, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't be that a good person doing that. Like he's a good person, like leading the Gold Cloaks, you know, like we've seen in season 1 and stuff, and being like this leader and being like doing all those things. But when it comes down to it, bro, he just wants to get out there getting some action and stuff and all that. He's good when he gets in that action. But I think he is worried a little bit about what's going on.
Yeah, he looked mortified. Obviously, he keeps trying to get a handle on this and he can't. And he's the type of guy that's always become like, he's the badass. He's always jumping in there, doing shit, coming out on top and stuff like that. And this is really looks like it's mortifying, like how like this, he can't get a handle on it. It just, you know, it seems like they're one step ahead of him.
Yeah, we also got post 614 with another one. Who's going to protect the crown without the gold cloaks? Yeah, I don't think all the Gold Cloaks are dead, obviously, but they did kill the leadership, it looked like, whenever they was doing some kind of feast of traitors. That's one of the big moments that happens at the end of this episode right here, particularly. That was kind of the biggest shock to me, is like the dude that was like the leader of the Gold Cloaks and some of those other people sitting there at that table all dead. Like, so how many, and like who's actually doing this, who's behind the killings here, is going to be kind of an interesting thing to have unfold. I hope it's not one of those stupid things where they don't show us who's actually doing this. I think obviously the High Tower, Aemond or whatever, has some kind of power in the city. We saw that pigeons are flying out giving him messages and stuff, so he has a presence there. So maybe he's the one having these things get done, and like he just has some people in good places to do it. But yeah, I agree. They're like, who is going to be the protectors of the queen and the crown right now, especially like because they're the only thing they had as far as an actual army. They haven't really shown us anything else besides the Gold Cloaks kind of going out there and doing the business and everything else, except for the fact that they have dragons or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, you're kidding. The City Watch and all that's going. I don't know who comes up next for on the payroll. They couldn't even pay the Gold Cloaks, so it'll be interesting how they differentiated that. But yeah, it seemed like Allman was getting information. I don't know. I still have to figure out if he's the one actually orchestrating this or he's just getting info within the city. But it seems like there's a contingent of people that are not happy and kind of fighting back within the walls. And Daemon was like, "We got to squash this. This is the closest threat that we have. We can worry about everybody else on the outside when the time comes." And they're not even that scary. He feels like we need to worry about what's coming within our walls.
Yeah, Pale Nimbus here. I was confused who killed the Gold Cloaks. Well, we're all confused on that one.
Yeah,
because I don't think nobody knows. Like I said, Ormond Hightower, the guy over there in Templeton, I think he probably has something going on with here. It's implied, obviously, that he has some kind of like reach into King's Landing and everything else. So it could be just him having some people do it, which can be fine, I guess, or whatever. But yeah, I definitely want to know who killed him. I don't want to have this be some kind of strand that goes, we just don't learn anything from. We don't get any kind of like, I want to know who actually did this. I think that was like a big moment at the end of this episode that was pretty cool. And it was kind of shocking, what the hell happened in here kind of situation. So, yeah. Bobcat Driver 6930 says, best episode of the season. The writing was tight this episode. I actually agree. This is one of the better written episodes. I thought the first episode was decently solid for me. Then we had those 2 episodes that we had some dumb things happen. We had things thrown in I didn't think needed to be thrown in, like the assault thing, and like the brought it up a couple times. Like, why did we even have to know that she's on her period with Rhaenyra? It was just like seemed like thrown in for no real reason, just to say it, almost kind of situation in those 2 episodes. So whoever wrote those 2 episodes, I really didn't like, and I wasn't digging some of the feel. But then these last 2 episodes, I think it has brought it back and well written, even though last episode probably wasn't the most exciting episode or whatever. And I think this one did bring in more of the excitement, and we get some more of the build up. I think it was going to be like these 2 episodes is kind of that meet in the middle that's a little bit. It's not like the best part, like you haven't gotten to the dessert yet, but it's like that savory part that you're getting the building blocks of, like the last few episodes that we're going to have, because I think we got 3 more episodes to go after this one. So hopefully these last, especially next 2 episodes, I think should have a lot more excitement in them, just because usually the last episode is where you deal with the aftermath of what happened that's big and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I actually agree with Bobcat Driver on that particular one.
No, definitely. This definitely moved along. You got to see a little bit of everybody, what they're going to go through, what their roadblocks or whatever they're trying to overcome. So it definitely showed a bunch of different aspects of everybody that's going on in the season.
All right, so we'll go down the list, talk about some other things. I'm sorry, that little took a sip of that drink and it went down the wrong.
The old milk of the poppy.
Criston Cole, let's talk about him. Biggest thing we've seen with him in any of the episodes so far. We're 5 episodes in, and we're Criston Cole. Got to see a decent amount of him tonight. You know, he comes out with his game plan, then it looks like, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's funny. It's like he's doing a suicide mission thing, basically, and he kind of, I don't even know if he got outsmarted, because I wanted to say earlier while we were watching the episode that he kind of got outsmarted by a kid, because you got that young kid who kind of says like, we'll play his game. And then like, so they get outsmarted, then the kid learns his lesson and is like, nah, brah, we're about to play some of his games then. You know what I'm saying? He kind of turns it against Criston Cole. We see at the end of the episode, and then they have that discussion, and then Criston Cole's talking to some of his men, and that other guy, if I'm not mistaken, he's a high tower. He's like kin to Alicent, starts walking away as he's talking and stuff. So like, I think they got a divide between them. They've been together for a little while in these last like season 2 and now season 3 for the most part, and now they're kind of splitting apart here. But yeah, like I was gonna say, man, he got outsmarted by that kid, but I don't. Maybe he didn't get outsmarted. Maybe he just wants to die, and that's what it seems like. Criston Cole's kind of going down that route. What do you think about that, Greg?
Yeah, at first you saw Criston Cole kind of be like a Navy SEAL badass. He had the paint on his face. They all kind of, he came out of the moat, looked like he was in control. He was making the right moves. Then you have the ominous Oscar. I think his name's Oscar Tully. A little kid was like, you know what, I can handle this. I'll play his game. Just kind of like the sneaking around kind of game. And so he sets up, he takes out the horses so they have to move on foot. And then he eventually takes out the bridge so they can't get across. And you're like, oh, he outsmarted him, he beat him. But then, like you said, like Criston Cole kind of like has that speech where he's like, I just want to go out I who I am is the best, fighter in all the realm. I'm going to be well known. I just want to go heads up with him. And the guy's like,
he wants to die by the sword. He wants to die by the sword. He's already given up. He knows he's failed in all these ways. Now he knows that like Alicent isn't even like the queen or basically anymore. So now like even that's kind of gone from him and everything else. He kind of wants like to die in like this blaze of glory. And that like Alicent hears about it and like can hear it and hear the stories and things like, oh, Criston Cole was the man kind of situation. He kind of a simp, man.
Yeah,
he kind of a simp, Greg. All right,
they're either setting up I think they're setting up the oop-de-oop with this whole situation where he's playing woe is me and all this situation, and all of a sudden something grandeur is going to help him out. Obviously, that's not Game of Thrones. That's more of like a regular show that he would be all.
I don't think it's going to happen for him, Greg.
And then he like something happens, like Vhagar comes out of nowhere and kills everybody. He survives, and it's like a glorious win.
Game of Thrones way, if they write this correctly, something cool is going to happen. Yeah. Well, no, I'm just going to say is like something cool will happen, right? Like, and then it's like, oh shit, Criston Cole's going to possibly come out of this like almost unscathed, and then like something crazy bad's going to happen right after that.
Yeah, he can't.
Like, oh damn.
You can't be like Jon Snow where he just survives and everything. You got to kill this guy at some point.
Yeah, he getting his he gonna get murked. I don't know how they're gonna do it because they're gonna change it from like the story of the book. I'm gonna assume, but to be honest with you, he was such an asshole. But then you don't remember how big. It's like hard to remember how big of an asshole he was unless you rewatch the first 2 seasons of the House of the Dragon, because of how that's the biggest problem with having such a big gap in between the seasons. Is like when you do that, like. Bro, like, I remember Criston Cole's a butthole, but like, not everybody's going to remember every little thing like that. I mean, we talk about these shows and stuff like that on YouTube a little bit. So, like, we can't even remember anything. Other question I'm going to ask you, big dog. What the hell is that woman over there in Harrenhal, man?
The Witch of Harrenhal, man.
Yeah. Like, what is she doing? I know she wants Harrenhal.
Yeah.
But, like, who is she? Is she just like a plain out witch? Is she like... I've heard people talk about like different things thrown around. Oh, she's like a representation of like the old gods and everything else, because when they built Harrenhal, they cut down a lot of the woods and the trees there that was like doing the whole thing. It's like, crap, there's a certain kind of tree. I'm brain farting right now because I'm old. But with that being said, like, yeah, like they do that kind of thing. And so yeah, like it's a big mystery, though, like what she really is. And I don't know if they're really going to tell us or not. She controlled bats, dude.
Yeah, she
Could be a
throughout the
vampire, Greg. She could be a
yeah.
vampire.
I was thinking either she's either gonna be the next Batman or she was some kind of vampire throwing all those bats out. But they kind of like I don't know. They're kind of lifting up the myth that maybe she's more than just a regular human. That she, that the little scene where she kind of, uses her great speech and also the bats to kind of scare off the guys who are looking for Aemond.
Hmm.
The whole situation, but yeah, she's a pivotal character. She's, she had her own little, I didn't like it what happened with Damon that in that season where she was with him and he went through his whole ayahuasca journey, trying to learn things. Now we're with Aemon trying to, deal with his guilt of what he did to his brother, and all that situation, and his mommy issues, and they're trying to figure all that out. So, but yeah, she's got it. She's ultimately her. She's always wanted Harrenhal to stay with her. She feels like she's the most qualified to take care of it, and that's her goal. As
I'm
far
a,
as what she is, I have no idea. Supernatural, whatever. I don't think they'll ever like address it outlandish. They did. The guy did say, witch. We've heard stories of you, and so they kind of brought up the whole witch, angle.
like my deal with Eamon is he reminds me of Jason Voorhees. Hold on one second, right?
Okay.
So with Jason, you always could do, there was like the one movie, one of the Friday the 13th, where like the girl like puts on the sweater that his mom was wearing and just kind of,
Mm-hmm.
oh, Jason, it distracts him. He's got so many mommy issues that like it distracts even Jason Voorhees, right? And that's kind of what like because in Jason Voorhees is scary. Same thing with Eamon, he's scary, right? He's going in through here, he's hacking these people, he's kind of crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he doesn't make the smartest decisions, which can make you even more scarier. But then if you want to distract him, just give him a bosom to lay down upon, and he's like, he's good to go, bro. Like that's how it is. But like, kind of like I like his character, and I love the actor playing him. Thinking he's doing really good. I will say that, like most of the people that you got, even if sometimes the writing's not that good, the way they act, the way they portray and do those kind of things, is done pretty well by all that. But talking about assholes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alicent,
Okay.
bro, this woman, all this time, sacrificing her kids, picking ones over the other ones, doing all this kind of situation, and then tonight in this episode, she's trying to make her daughter perform an abortion that she don't want.
Yeah.
Bruh, can we get any worse? Can we get any worse? Like, I mean, like Alicent to me is like, bro, the actress is super great, super good, well played. She does expressions and stuff like that. She doesn't even have to talk to really like be out there. She's one of the best, I think, actresses in this actual show, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And so I think she's knocked it out of the park. But as a character, she trash, bro. You know what I'm saying? She's out there doing this thing like, you know, back in the day, you could see her like on a Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
The old school like Jerry. The old school like at night like freaking like talk show thing or whatever. It's like Jerry Springer. Like she could be that person on there is like doing all these like horrible things,
Mm-hmm.
not taking care of her kids and shit like that. But like, what do you think about Alicent so far? And the fact that like, do you think the other big thing at the end? So the big thing at the end was the Gold Cloaks getting slaughtered.
Mm-hmm.
The other big thing was they went through the door. They went through the little secret door they found, and then they closed it because they didn't want to get caught. And then they found out that part somebody sealed that off,
Mm-hmm.
so now they might be trapped. Now the cat is in there with them, and the cat takes off running. So I don't think they're completely sealed in there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you think about that? Like that they possibly could be just sealed in the walls and possibly to die.
I'd be shocked if that's the way they go out. I mean, it's a good little cliffhanger.
I'm going to be honest with you. It would be a very interesting way to take care of Alicent and this character because in the story, once Alicent gets to a certain part, if I'm not mistaken, like she pretty much puts herself like in one of the towers and kind of traps herself off. Like she kind of closes herself off. She doesn't want to have nothing to do with nobody.
Hmm.
She's being like a super big hermit and stuff. She kind of goes away from the story. She's not even really mentioned anymore.
Hmm.
So like it would be a cool way to like do something kind of in the book to where it's like, oh, people think she went up to one of the towers and kind of been hiding out,
Hmm.
but she actually didn't. She actually gets trapped in one of these like secret layers in like the actual castle and dies in the walls, and like nobody found her or whatever. I think that could be an interesting way to kind of do what the kind of book kind of does.
Hmm.
So I'm not going to hate on it completely 100% when it comes to that.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting how they pull it off and how they make it interesting rather than just like that's you never see her again. And all of a sudden, someone like goes through a lair, or Rhaenyra's walking through a wall or something, and they just see Alicent's dead body and Helena's dead body in skeleton form, or just like a dead body there, and they're like, oh, that's what happened to them. Um, so it depends on how they handle it. Obviously, I'm down with whatever as long as they handle it correctly and make it interesting. I'm always down for whatever creative deaths they make or decisions. I as Allison the character, I have no problem with her. I kind of understand that she's playing the game. She's also trying to survive, and a lot of times people try to um, use noble decisions or have this nobleness about them when they're trying to. It's the whole Joker thing, right? When the chips are
Well,
down, when the chips are down, people will reveal who they really are, and they try to hide behind all these nobility and goodness and making the right decisions and trying to explain it as good decisions. They're simple decisions that I'm trying to survive or I'm trying to get in power. Those are the two things, and especially in the Game of Thrones, you're either trying to move up or you're trying to survive and just make it to the next go around. So I understand what Allison does. I understand her manipulation game is on point. She's doing her thing. I don't think she gives a really. She tries to pretend like she gives a shit about her family, and to a extent, she probably does because obviously that's her family. But at the
mhm.
end of the day, she's trying to gain power or she's trying to survive. So,
Yeah, and I think like she doesn't have a lot of currency, right?
hmm.
She doesn't have a lot of power, especially at a certain point of the story. She has a lot of power at one point, then she kind of loses that power. And once that happens, she really doesn't have anything as currency. The only thing she has is her kids. So she's kind of trapped in this thing. It's
Yeah.
like that's the only thing that she can use to try to survive. But I just think like at some point, I'm like, bro, I'm just sacrificing myself over my kids. It's like at some point, like I'm not playing games with my kids and like having them
Hmm.
taken out or whatever. Real quick, Bobcat Driver over here. Episode 6 is going to have a big action set piece, a level of not on the level of the gullet, but a chunky sequence. Yeah, like they have to have something coming on, especially these next two episodes. And like I said, usually the last episode of the season is going to be putting everything together and setting us up for the next season to come because this is going to have 4 seasons. So we got one more season of House of the Dragon left. Uh, when it comes down. And then he also says, I now really want a prop replica of the Savas board, the game Ormond played with Darren. Yeah, that right there is pretty cool looking, actually, like during
Yeah.
the thing, like kind of like a chess game, but it's different. If I'm not mistaken, that game is played by Tyrion Lannister at some point, like during the Game of Thrones. I don't know if they did it like actually on the thing, but I know in the books he's playing that game as they're like floating around because there's a lot more to the story that happens with Tyrion and stuff like that. It's not shown in the actual like original TV series. But
Any
uh,
symbolism going on in that scene where
I
he
just think it's to
thinks
show
he.
you that. Yeah, I just think it's to show you that this Ormond guy, like he seems very proper and
Mhm,
regal, right, at points, but then he can lose it really quick.
mhm,
Like he did that in the last episode, and then he did it in this episode with that board when he like knocks over all the pieces, and then he's like does something nice.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? For Darren, he like, hey, like, look, here goes the gold piece that I made. It's supposed to look like you. That you're going to be the king. You know, and he's kind of smiling with him and stuff. But they're right there, and he even tells him like, never apologize for victory or whatever. So he's giving him this good advice, but like there for a split second, he lost it. And so he's one of these guys that is like crazy. You're just gonna be sitting around going like, okay, what's gonna happen? When is he gonna lose it? Kind of situation.
Yeah, I
Um,
got I got from it like he was trying to explain how he feels like he's so in control. It's a high tower. He's so smart. He's so in control. He has the birds out. He's understanding what's going on and the situation with Rhaenyra. He's got everything going in control, and he thinks he's so smart. And he's trying to explain the history of the High Towers, and especially that one woman. She was such a great military mind and stuff like that. And he's trying to downplay the Targaryens as just people with the dragons, that they're just pure strength, and they have the dragons, and that's why they're powerful. They're not really that smart. And then he loses to a Targaryen kid in
Right.
that game, and he kind of like it just kind of a blow to the ego. In
No,
essence.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he got that blow to the ego and he snapped and he like
Yeah.
pushed all the things off the board. I made the Monopoly joke, like don't play Monopoly with your family. And like he crashes out, he does that whole thing, and then he catches himself and he stops snapping because he needs this kid. He has to have something to play for the king. He has to have something in play here. So he can't just like go off and kill the kid because now he doesn't have anything to play with anymore. You know, like Alicent's got her kids that she's using for currency. Rhaenyra's got her dragon she's using for currency. And he's got this kid that possibly has a right to the throne as his currency. So
Mhm.
it's like that's what they have. That's that thing that's giving them their motivation. Not only that, but like gives them the even power to be able to do anything that they want to do and try to actually win the Game of Thrones. Because it's always about the Game of Thrones, getting on that throne. Uh, Want to throw out some moments real quick. I really love the Daemon and Rhaenyra scenes in this. Like we had the small council thing, and then like that scene where he's walking away, and then she leaves the small council meeting as well, and catches each other. Really like them when they were like talking in Valyrian there by the candles and everything. Looks like in the Septon and all that. So I actually thought those scenes were pretty strong. Not a lot of like action, obviously, or whatever, but it gives a lot in their kind of relationship. Like I said, they go back and forth. The believability is Daemon there with her for 100%. We don't know. Maybe we know. Don't and all that kind of stuff. So like, you have those issues going on. I thought they were played out very, very well in the actual episode. Um, I like the stuff with Larys and Aegon. We haven't even talked about them yet. We'll cover that a little bit. But like Aegon killing that dude that was rude as hell to him. We got the Lannister that showed up that we thought was possibly dead during the fight and everything else. So we had all that stuff going on. And I thought that part of the story was pretty strong as well. Like I agree with the guy earlier in the chat saying that he thought this episode was the best written.
Yeah, I got a question about one part. How do you feel like the new master coined the whole fat guy, funny guy, kind of like trying to bring some comedy into House of the Dragon a little bit, levity. How you feel like that's playing out?
I think it's playing out. That's whatever. Like, I just think he's not like a big character. I don't think he's really going to mean anything. He might even get like killed in some kind of weird, crazy way or something like
Mhm.
that for whatever reason. I just think he's not a big character. Uh, so I don't mind it that much, and we only get to see him every little bit, every
Mhm.
now and then. And I think he does add a little bit of levity. The thing about House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones or a show as serious as these shows can be, it's like you got to be careful doing that a little bit. You got to be pretty creative. You know, like in the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, pretty serious show. They would give us the comedy like at the very beginning of the episode, or like maybe even at the very end on like one of the episodes. I think where it really didn't disrupt uh, anything pretty much in there. Or it's got to be something that could still be played off as serious, like in the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. You know, like when that one guy stands up, it looks like he's going to join uh, and fight and everything else, and he just like farts and then sits back down or whatever.
Mhm.
That's like some guy being like kind of like goofy, but like in sort of like a serious way of like, oh, whatever. You can try to play that off a little bit. You have to be careful. I don't think he's crossed the line. That character's crossed the line yet, but I could see like if you had uh, that character too much in the episodes, and it could become like a Jar Jar Binks thing. You know what I'm saying? Like where it's
Mhm.
like too much of it.
Yeah, he's no Braun. He's no Braun.
Yep.
My real master of coins.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, but I did like a lot of the Lara scenes and stuff, like when they were going through there. and he's like building up now. I think Home Dude's like, you know what, I see what you're saying, dog. I'm gonna follow you because like you're right. Because Laris goes like off on him and says like, you you're right, you were a bad king, but the
Mhm.
worst part was you were a bad man. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, you wasn't good, period. Like, and it was like, Home Dude kind of like looked at it, and I guess he kind of realized it's like, nah, man, you know what? Maybe I do need to listen to somebody. And I think that's going to be kind of cool to see where they go from here in the last couple of episodes.
And that's a realization of what we all go through on a journey, like realizing maybe we fantasize or romanticize or think about ourselves in a certain light, but then if you want true growth, you have to face who you really are and see, and sometimes it comes from outside people telling you, and good people or people that have the best interest or whatever, shining a mirror on you and saying like, hey, you're not as good as you think you are, or you've got some problems, or you got some things to work on, you're not. And it's what your choice what you do from there. You accept it, or do you go back and refute it? You just kind of ignore it and you kind of just go on your way. So it's kind of a journey we all have to go through at some point, or choose sometimes go through.
For the next couple of reviews, we'll kind of do this. We'll throw a random question for something from the
Mhm.
actual episode out there for the people. Like, you can put in the comments below, whatever. But do you think the White Worm's going to be dead before the season's over with?
It's got to come down to her or Daemon, right? At this point, it's kind of
Mhm.
setting up to one side's got to win. There's no room for both of them. So I'm gonna assume that Masari dies at some point. Maybe Alicent, if she survives this, somehow turns the whole. Well, she didn't tell on me. So she's not loyal to you, Queen, and then Rhaenyra kills her. But Masari's got to die at some point. So
And do you think Alicent and them are dead? Do
no,
you think
no,
they're
no,
literally trapped in the walls?
no,
They're
they'll
getting
fight.
out. You think they're getting out? All right,
Yeah.
cool. And the last part, and we'll get out of here. We almost talked about the episode about as long as the episode was. But with that being said, overall, this episode, like we kind of hinted at the very beginning, all right, we were both in the B minus, almost C plus level. We're like
Mhm.
right there on the edge. So like when we say a B, we at the very bottom level of being a B. Pretty much a high C on the show so far. This episode after it, does that change? Do you go up to the B plus? Do you go up to the mid area, B play area, like away from that line, or do you even go all the way up to an A?
This episode was a B plus for me, so it leaves me at a B overall for the season.
All right, so you go from the B minus level, like we're almost a C, to the
Mhm.
B, and I'm actually going to be exactly where you're at. This is a pretty good, well written episode, I thought, better written than most of the episodes we've gotten this season so far. So props to the writer on this one right here, and
Mhm.
maybe they wrote the one before it because it looks like they gave them one or two episodes apiece. But with that being said, I actually agree with you that this one was a little bit better. It got me off that C line because I'm talking
Mhm.
about, man, I was like, you missed one more question and we're in C territory for this show,
Mhm.
grade wise. But with all that being said, this one right here was pretty tight. Thought it was one of the tighter ones, and I'm going up to the mid B. Like, so now I'm not on that line. Now I'm straight. It's a good B right now. It's a good B show. And I am enjoying it overall. Couple of little things that are in those two episodes, like I said, like especially the Daemon thing. Like, I just hate it when you make the characters that I like be stupid for no reason. But but yeah, now we'll see. We got three more episodes. They might can keep pumping up if they keep climbing up to the being better and better and better and better. Not only well written, but you throw in some more of the action, throw in some battles, you know what I'm saying, and all that. Which I'll be curious. I guess maybe we're gonna have some of the Templeton, like some of this stuff's gonna get out there. Damon's probably gonna be like, "Yo, bro, we got to do something to stop this," because now they did find out the information as well that the high towers have been having some kind of communication.
Yeah.
So they do know that some of that's happening. So I'm going to assume that Damon's probably going to go back to Rhaenyra and be like, "Yo, the high tower, Armand's out here messing us up. We got to go out there and do something." So I'm pretty sure something like that's going to happen, and we're going to see that unfold.
He taunted him twice, pretty much. Like, not
Yep.
only does he have the gold,
Yeah.
He stamped oh, what's his name? I forgot his name. I'm blanking.
Mhm.
The Targaryen, the other Targaryen, Darren Targaryen's face on the gold. So it's a double taunt.
Yeah.
I got your gold, and I'm proclaiming this guy's a king and challenging your rule. What are you gonna do about it?
I want to shout out everybody out there: Bobcat Driver, Post 614, Pale Nimbus, our guy that showed up even during our live action that was here. Some of the review, Lead American. Just anybody out there that wanted to jump into the chat tonight and talk and everything else, we really do appreciate it. Thank you guys. We like watching TV shows and movies and stuff like that, and we like to talk about them. And might as well just get on YouTube and talk about the stuff. And hope you guys enjoy it. Please like, subscribe. You can join the Discord for free. It'll be down in the description below. And you can find out when we're going to do these like watch alongs. We'll be doing it for different shows and stuff too. It won't just be for House of the Dragon. Definitely going to be for House of Dragon, Knights of the Seven Kingdoms, and anything to do Game of Thrones, lore wise, and Westeros, because we really do it now. We both aren't experts. I know a little bit more as far as the book stuff goes than Greg does, but with that being said, I'm not a complete expert and stuff and all that. So we're just kind of like, I'm a little bit above a normie, and my man Greg, as far as that goes, knows everything. You know, he likes the shows, he likes the Game of Thrones universe, like I do and stuff like that. And we love to have the hardcore people come in and be part of that and stuff like that with us. But thank you very much. Until next time, peace.